ladies and gentlemen, so this video is going to be about domestic abuse and just abusive relationships. I wanted to do this video because I seen this other video which really pissed me off. Right, I think she was on Dr. Phil as well, and the thing is, I absolutely adore Dr. Phil. I think he's awesome. I don't know why, I've always really liked him. I haven't watched the video of when she was on Dr. Phil, but I've watched another video of her doing a little video stating that if your boyfriend hits you, stay with him. He's risking you calling the police. He's risking his freedom. He's risking all of that for you, quote unquote, right? Now, when I seen this video, my blood actually boiled. Do you know what I mean? She's laying on a bed or something. She's laying down and she's doing the video like this. And she sort of looks like she's believing her own words, which is... So, I want to go way back, right? Because practically all my life, well, I don't say practically, I'm gonna try and use words today that are sort of stern, you know, like this is what happened and that's it. Because I'm a sort of person who's very submissive, and I sort of fall over my words and I use other words. How can I do an example? Like, and I do say sorry about everything that I say as well. It's been within me for years, and I'm going to try not to sort of pinpoint particular times in these relationships. It's really hard for me to try and not do that by giving you, because I really want to give you examples of what to sort of look for and how to prevent it, like how to prevent an abusive relationship getting any worse. Do you know what I mean? Sort of like know the feelings inside of you and know the warning signs of a person and how dangerous things can actually get. So I have written down a few things. If you see me looking down quite a lot, it's because I'm just reading what I've wrote down. I haven't Googled anything. I've just, from my own mind, from my own experiences, I've done little sort of like bullet point things, and I've wrote things down just to help me sort of do this video a little bit better, because when I'm on camera my mind sort of goes a little bit blank, and as you all know by now, I'm not a very good public speaker. I'm going to try my best for you, and I'm going to just dive straight in with my experiences with abusive partners. Why I proceeded to have a long string of abusive relationships. It was the first relationship I had. I said I wouldn't do this when I was 18. Obviously, as I'm talking about these, you know who you are if you are watching this video. Do you know what I mean? I'm not slagging you off. Everything that happened in the past does not affect me now. I have been through so much therapy, it's not even funny. I'm doing really well, and I hope you lot are as well. I hope you've seen the error of your ways as well and tried to change it for the good. Even though I was really, you know, a big party girl and all this stuff, I was a really naive young girl. And after that relationship, this is where, without me even knowing it, subconsciously I would pick wrong partners for myself. A lot of the time, in the beginning, it was okay. Now, these people I madly fell in love with, and when it got to the point where I knew that everything was going wrong, I sort of hushed it aside and said to myself, it'll get better, but it didn't. There was times in these relationships where, I mean, these kind of people work on you, right? When I was younger, I cheated on a few people. I hold my hands up to that. I was a party girl, man. I didn't want to settle down, you know. I was playing the field. I was enjoying my life. I was young. I was having fun. And yeah, I did cheat on a few people. To the point in it got to the point. I'm not talking about one particular person here. Just think about what I'm trying to say to you as a person right now. I got to the point where my parents didn't want to speak to me. I got to the point where I had to hide black eyes from my parents. They would say, we want to come down. And I would say, oh no, please don't. But because my grandparent, I call them my parents / grandparents, because they're of an elderly age, you know, a different era, if you like, they didn't understand what was happening. You know, my nan would say, if a man ever hit me, he'd be gone out of my life, married or not married, he's gone, bruv. Do you know what I mean? But I just stuck around, and, you know, I stayed. So in some sort of sense, it is my fault for letting it happen. But because I was in my addiction so hard, like I was just like a revolving door. Well, it wasn't even a revolving door. I was just stuck in my addiction, to be quite honest, at this point. I was just drinking, and I didn't know who the hell I was. And this is a key part of this video. You've got to know who you are before you enter any relationship whatsoever. Even a friendship isn't going to work if you can't work on yourself first. Do you understand what I mean? You know, these relationships can get really dangerous really, really quickly. If you're, say, in a codependent relationship, which is the worst kind, if you ask me, you know, you have to be happy within yourself before you can be happy with somebody else. Ever heard of the saying, you know, you got to be able to love yourself before somebody else can love you? Well, that's true. Now, when you get into one of these relationships, you know, if it persists and it gets worse and it gets worse, I ended up like an empty shell. You can lose, well, I lost a really, really good friend to one of these people. I lost quite a few friends. They would, now this might sound childish for lack of better words, stealing my friends off me. So then when we would argue, my parents weren't speaking to me, I didn't have any friends, a majority of the time they took all my money. Would have an argument, and it got to the point where in the relationship I knew that I had my own opinions, but I wasn't allowed to voice them, because if I did, there would be an argument straight away. I wasn't allowed to voice my opinion because I was wrong in what I was saying. Either wrong, or I would be ignored, and then my money would be taken and I would be left without anything. So I can't ask my parents to lend money now because my parents aren't speaking to me. I can't ask a friend to help me out because I have no friends. Or instead of stealing my friends, they would isolate me with them constantly. If I was on my phone, it got to the point where I didn't use my phone in front of them because I know it would start an argument. I'd sit there and, how can I explain the feeling? I'd sit there, my phone would be on the side, and if it went off and I looked at it and I could feel the eyes on me, I could feel the tension in the room about to explode. You could cut the tension with a knife and fork. Now this could be an email off Wish or Asda's, you know, saying my shopping's on the way. But God, the tension when I looked at my phone was silly, you know. Somebody shouldn't have to live like this. I wasn't allowed out. I could go out, don't get me wrong. Oh, I could go out, yeah. But as soon as I was out for like 2 minutes, I'd have texts saying, I can see you, I know you've been with a boy in town. Don't have to justify it anymore, but probably me saying hello to one of my mates, which I've known for years, you know. I wasn't allowed to speak to anyone. I was made to feel guilty if I did. These kind of people can get so embedded in your brain that you will start to question what you are doing. You will start to question your own sanity. You will sit down for hours on end trying to think why this person is saying this so many times to you, and you question it, and then all of a sudden you will think, oh, well, if they're doing it you know, all day, every day, I must be doing something wrong. Now, this kind of person is, to be quite blunt with you, all they're doing is gaslighting you. I'm not saying all they're doing, because gaslighting somebody can ruin somebody's mental health really, really quickly. Gaslighting, you know, that's what gaslighting is. It's somebody who is doing it so much to you, manipulating you. They make you question your own sanity. And if you are mentally ill before you meet this person, you're going to go down a very, very dangerous road in your own mind. Because I have borderline, because I have BPD, borderline personality disorder, I've got traits, you know, got issues, right? So I've got issues, abandonment issues. Now this, I think, will stay with me forever. I haven't been told that, but, you know, if you look back on my other video, 9 traits of BPD, that's me. I think you'll understand what I mean. I always like jump in the deep end with somebody. I sort of always believed that anyone would leave me in the end. So then you resort in your mind to sort of pushing this person away anyway, which wasn't a good thing, but it did happen a lot. And I wouldn't only do that, I would test people. I would test their character to the absolute max to see what they could, what they could put up with and what they couldn't. No, I'm not saying every time I got hit it was my fault and that, you know, that I deserved it, because I'm not going to sit here and say that I deserve to be beaten up by a man. I think the most was 3 times in one night, over and over and over again. And when I say beaten up, I mean really beaten up, kicked in the ribs, kicked in the head nearly, beaten up to the face. If I hadn't have gone like this to my face, then he probably would have broken my jaw, my eye sockets and everything. I still have black eyes, even though I did cover myself, tried to. But looking back on it, you know, the days building up to this, I know that I was testing him in every way possible over a period of months. But he was the sort of person who would not sit down and speak to me. He was hiding a lot from me. We were both addicts. Didn't exactly meet him in the best place either. We were both addicts. He was trying to, I think, trying to keep this strong exterior about him, whereas he wanted for me to believe that he could look after me and him and the house. He wanted to make everything okay, which I found quite sweet, as you would, right? What is this now? What is this? And I know I said I wouldn't pinpoint things, but I'm finding it really hard not to when I want to talk about these kind of experiences. He used to go to the shop, he used to guzzle back as much drink as he could and then bring me mine, right? I didn't have a clue about this. He didn't seem drunk to me, maybe because I was under the influence. I'm not quite sure, but I never knew. And when I found out, he said it stopped, but it didn't stop. We used to sit there, take drugs, drink. You know, it was so toxic. It was so codependent, so toxic, so I couldn't live without him, he couldn't live without me sort of thing. I seen this one episode on Jeremy Kyle once. It really, really stuck with me and really got to me when I seen this episode. I can't remember their names. They were living, I think, in a car. I think they were on heroin or on some substance and drinking and, you know, everything that comes with it. And he offered them separate rehabs, which I would have jumped at the chance. Maybe not back then, but recently I would have. And she wouldn't go because they were codependent. They couldn't leave each other. It was either, you know, we get better together or nothing. But the man, he was begging his girlfriend to do it for them to get better separately and then live happily together. But when you're so codependent, you know, codependency, man, it it can ruin you. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be happy in yourself before anything else happens in your life. You have got to be 100% sure that you can trust yourself before anyone else. People used to use my addiction against me. Can you see I'm using people, him, her, I don't know how to speak about it without not... Do you know what I mean? It's really, really hard for me, so please bear with me. They used to use... I'll say they, right? Who's they? They used to use my addiction against me. I remember my last bottle of wine being tipped straight over my head and I was laughed at. And it was too late to go back down the shop to get any more. The worst thing you can do to an addict is either take their what they need away from them. But no, this person went to a different level and wanted to pour it over my head. I've had that done in numerous relationships. I think they found it quite fucking funny. I'd find it funny now and be like, whatever, well, here's a cup of tea, you might as well pour that over me, because I don't look at alcohol like I used to. So alcohol was my life, it was my everything. I woke up, the first thing I'd do was drink. I'd vomit first, actually, and then I would carry on with my day, get in as pissed as I could, and it was bad. I'm over 2 weeks sober, by the way. Thank you very much. The relationship would build up and it'd get worse and worse, more toxic. And I could actually feel inside me that the danger was getting worse. I used to sit across from them and think, when is this next argument coming? You could feel the tension in the air. It was awful. In the end, I felt like an empty shell, because if I'd go out, I would be accused of cheating. I wasn't allowed to do anything. I could be on FaceTime with nobody around except me and the dog, and I was still cheating, apparently. People can go as far as to have evidence right in front of their face and still not believe you. Now, this sounds really, really pathetic when I'm looking back on it. And I should have just cut all ties and gone, do you know what? You're the most childish person I've ever met. When you've got definitive proof in front of you that somebody isn't with somebody else, how can you still go on to say that they are? I don't understand, but that's the way it was. Trying not to be straight, I was in a string of abusive relationships. I was beaten up. I was used for money. I was used for sex, and I was used for a place to live. They had it all when they moved in with me, because they had a ready-made home. They didn't have to. Looking back on it, this is the way it is. They didn't have to do anything at all. Didn't have to contribute anything at all. I remember having to practically beg for money. Because when people say, oh yeah, somebody's moving in, it's going to help with the bills. Well, it's not, is it? Because you're using twice as much. So they're just paying for what they use. Scared, just for asking, like, can we put a fiver on the electric, or this and that. You shouldn't have to live like that, You really, really shouldn't. Let me have a look. I stayed in these relationships because it was my life. It was the person. When you get into that toxic, dangerous little whirlwind of life, just you and that person, right? It's just you and that person. And your life evolves around like these four walls and you and that person. That is why it gets really, really dangerous. I see a lot of people in these relationships where they spend 24/7, 24/7 with their partner. And this is why it gets to this point. You can't expect to be with them all the time and have something new to talk about. Do you know what I mean? It's just impossible. And let me tell you something. 2 addicts don't make a sober person. Let me tell you that, because, you know, these people in my life, they were addicts, you know, and you put 2 addicts together, what have you got? You got a fucking nightmare. That's what you've got. Double trouble. Do you know what I mean? That's literally what it is. If you can get out of this relationship, get healthy, get happy. I'm not on about being with somebody. I'm saying be on your own. Be happy. Be happy in your own company. Go out, do things that make you happy. Then the right one will find you. You don't have to look for Mr. or Mrs. Right. They're already there. You just got to live your life in a happy, sensible, healthy way. And then that person will find you along your path. When you pick this destructive, dangerous, toxic path you go down, then you will meet these dangerous, toxic people. Do you know what I mean? How do you expect to find a healthy, happy, genuine person that you can share the rest of your life with when you're not happy, genuine, or, do you know what I mean? It all comes from, you know, within you, you know, but it does start with you. I wasn't an angel in these relationships. I would get drunk. I would get abusive. I have hit people back. It got to the point where I had to stick up for myself. Do you know what I mean? I used to lose my temper. I used to say things, and because that they were manipulating me, I was getting pissed off. Because these people, you can give them definitive proof in front of them, right in front of their face, and they will still swear black is blue that you still did that. Now, to me, that just doesn't make any fucking sense, right? Whatever. Do you know what I mean? Crack on. It made me so frustrated that I thought, fuck you, like, why are you doing this? And it gets to the point, and it goes round and round and round and round, and you're helpless to stop it. Because this person is not going to give up until they fucking ruin you. You let a person in. You let a person in your heart and your mind. And they fuck you up. To use an example, and do you know what? I don't care. Woke up one day and I had a house viewing, a flat viewing, because I wanted to move. And I woke up, well, I was awake, and he woke up. Oh God, and my gut feelings are always right. And I knew that he was going to make an argument, right, when I came back. He was okay before I left, but I knew in my heart of hearts that he wanted to make an argument to leave. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to go into anything further. So I went to the flat viewing, I came back, and I was sitting there, and I was waiting. I was waiting for him to say something. But instead, I was also quite scared of saying anything. Because anything I'd say, he would turn it around on me and make out like I started an argument when it was in his head the night before. The night before he planned to make an argument after I'd come back, I knew. How you know these things, don't ask me, but you do in the end. These people are making you, I know it's a cliche to say, dude, you did me a favour, but when it comes down to it, you can use it in positive ways, as I've said in my videos. This is how I started to do it, and I started to get these feelings, and these feelings were always seemed to be right. But obviously, if I hadn't been treated the way I hadn't been, my gut feelings wouldn't be so intense. Do you know what I mean? And they are still intense. But anyway, I was right about that, and it did happen. So your feelings, and you're more aware. Do you know what I mean? Of people, you're more aware. Sometimes it can really damage you, and a lot of people can't turn bad situations into good ones, but I hope for your sake that you can. I still get these intense feelings. If I still to this day, if I meet somebody who isn't quite right, like isn't quite right for me, or is a dangerous, abusive person, then, because these people can be awfully charming, it falls under the psychopath tick list, if you know what I mean. Now I can't explain them to you, but it's like a light bulb goes off in my head, and my heart goes because my body, whole of my body, my hairs stand up on my arms, because my body is saying, whoa, whoa, do you know what I mean? Oh, sorry, red flag. Do you know what I mean? Stop while you're ahead. And this is what my mind and my body tells me straight away about a person. And I'm not just on about if I was thinking about getting into a relationship, I'm on about anyone in the world. I know if somebody's, you know, a fucking drama queen straight away. I know if somebody's going to be trouble, make trouble for no reason. Do you know what I mean? I get this doo-doof and light bulb, and then, or a light bulb and doo-doof, doo-doof, light bulb, doo-doof. Do you know what I mean? And that is it. I am done. And then I sort of ease my way apart, you know, apart from this person. Stay away. Big, big red flag. Always listen to your gut. Always listen to your nut and your gut. Your gut and your nut. As I say, my relationships, you know, it wasn't all their fault. But when they promised that they would take care of me, look after me, treat me like a decent human being, even though I'm an addict, you know. As I said in my other video, just because you're an addict doesn't necessarily mean that you're any less of a fucking person, man, you know. You still deserve respect, and at the bare minimum, at least, you know. But yeah, guys, I think you know, I don't want to end the video because I'm scared that I've missed something out, because every time I do this and I end the video, I'm thinking to myself, shit, why didn't I say that? But if you are a young person watching this and you think that you are in one of these awful relationships, either seek help together and get counselling and therapy, maybe on anger issues. I've been through anger management. One of my ex-partners did go, well, yeah, he did. He went through anger management and went to these classes on why he acts like this and everything. Didn't really help him. But, yeah. And I just want to say, if anyone is watching from my past, then I'm absolutely fine now, and don't worry about it. You haven't, and then I'm not saying this because it's like a cliche and all this bollocks. I'm genuinely, on my son's life, being honest with you right now. I'm not damaged from what you've done. I could have been if I'd carried on drinking, or I carried on in my lifestyle that I was. I'm very, very happy where I am now. It is true, if you are happy in yourself, in your mind, you have a good, healthy thing going on, then you will find somebody who makes you laugh, makes you happy. And because when I was in relationships, my world stopped straight away, and that was dangerous. Everything else around me stopped, and I was in that relationship. It was like tunnel vision. That's it, relationship, and that is so dangerous. And I realise now that that's very, very unhealthy to do. It's the same as little tricks that I've learned over my therapy. Because I used to plan things with people like, oh, I'm going with so-and-so, I'm going with them. It was never, I'm going, would you like to come along with me? Do you know what I mean? This is where I've got at in my life. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. Like, I don't know, little example, I take the dog for a walk. Would you like to join me? Not, can me and Dash, you know, come with you sort of thing. Do you understand what I mean? And it's the same with relationships. Do what you do in your life. And if that person wants to follow you in your life, then they will. People come in our lives sort of for a reason or a season. Do you know what I mean? And that's it, man. It's as simple as that. But when you are in this big, massive, dangerous whirlwind of domestic abuse, it's scary. And sometimes you don't, like, majority of the time, people don't even know that they're in it because they're so fucking blinded by love. Do you understand what I mean? You've got to start sticking up for yourself. And if this person is way too abusive for you to say anything about it whatsoever, I've been in that situation. I had to drag myself out of these relationships, kicking and screaming. That's myself. Because I loved them so much. Do you know what I mean? And I would have kept going back and back and back and back. Sometimes I was happy that I was lied to. I was happy that I was cheated on just because I could get fucking rid of them. Do you know what I mean? I was lied to for a few months. And my previous ex left me. He left me in debt and everything else. And he was seeing somebody behind my back for quite a while, and he thought I didn't know, but I did. But please, if there's children involved as well, it's so dangerous. These people will always find an excuse, and your children are not an excuse for you to be abused. Your children are your life. Just take the kids and go, because these people haven't touched on really how controlled I was. I mean, I've said that I wasn't allowed friends and all this, and I was made to feel like an empty shell in the end, where I thought I was worthless. I had nobody. I was okay when I was giving them sex. I was okay when I had money in my back pocket that I could give them. My bank card went missing multiple times by multiple people. It was only one person. To this day, I still believe that he wouldn't take it. I can't mention no names, of course, but I could only trust him with my money, nobody else. You think you know somebody, and then they go and do that to you. They go and pick at your brain, and make you feel like you're going mentally insane. Because if you have already got a mental health issue, or mental, going into these relationships will lead you onto further mental health issues. It's an ongoing thing. You need to get well. And if these people don't want you to get well, what does that say about them? They're selfish, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Why would somebody want somebody to suffer so much? There's no reason in this world that another human being should treat another human being like this. You know what I mean? They'll find any little thing to trigger you, to make you feel like it's all your fault. And they're very, very clever when they do it as well. Do you know what I mean? Very, very clever. You've got to watch out, because I swear to God, there's many people out there that won't think twice about how you feel in any situation. Can you really trust your partner? Do you know what I mean? Can you really, really trust them with your life? I mean, if you can't trust them with a bank card, what's it going to be like in a dire situation? You know what I mean? And when there's kids involved, man, you don't want to be worrying about shit. Do you know what I mean? The less worry, the better anyway for mentally ill people. I mean, we all need a little bit of more extra care and extra TLC when we are struggling with our mental health. We're not going to get that off a person who thrives on making people feel like shit. Sometimes in our lives, we need to take a step back, because many people, looking from the outside in, can tell you exactly what it looks like and exactly how toxic it has become. Whereas you, sitting in the box with the toxic person, is thinking, everything's gonna be fine. It's not. If you found yourself isolating yourself more to being with your partner, why? Are you stopping going out like you used to? Why? That person is with you for who you are and what you do in your life. They shouldn't be telling you what to do. Control. That's another thing I haven't said. Police were involved a lot in the past with me and my partners. And more often than not, I got arrested for hitting them or saying something that they didn't like. Where, I'd get arrested, straight away, my bank card in the back of their pocket. I'd come home, the place would be in a tip. My animals not fed. I couldn't do anything because I was in the cell for like 16, 18 hours. My animals not fed, they're all crying, my flat is a tip, I have no money left. I mean, I had the same conversations with police over and over again, and they kept saying to me, why'd you get yourself in these messes? It's just not that fucking easy, but do you know what I mean? I could hardly like think, let alone think why I'm in this situation. Do you know what I mean? I could hardly think each day. My mind was controlled. Do you understand what I mean? And it really, really got that bad. But I was the one ending up in the cell because I used to tell the police officer, I used to cry. I used to tell them, look, why didn't you go and arrest them? I've got bruises all over me. They wouldn't take me seriously because I'm a addict. You try sitting across the table from a police officer and you try explaining how somebody can gaslight you. Ask them for a pen and paper, do bullet point and write gaslighting and hand it back to them and say, this is what they done to me. Now please arrest them. It doesn't work, does it? This is how these people get you. They get you so fucking good. And they don't let go. And they'll drag you down, man. They'll drag you down further than you've never been before. If you suffer with depression, this is a big thing, man. Do you know what I mean? They're going to make it a million times worse. I don't envy anyone who cannot see what is about to happen in one of these relationships. As I say, if you are the sort of person who gets that instant gut feeling, please go with your gut feeling. I beg of you, please. There's a million things that I haven't mentioned in this video. I have pinpointed shit. I ain't sorry. Have finished, I don't know whether I've said this, I have finished my therapy. Yay, go me. We left on a really, really good note. I did have a little cry, but it was happy tears because I've come so far. I've been sober for going on 3 weeks. See, I'm not even counting anymore. It's just coming really, really natural to me. I'm doing really well. I had a little blip on the 13th, but that was going to happen. And yeah, it was a really bad day. But I picked myself back up, dusted myself off, and here I am again. I hope this video in any way has helped people. I really am a shit public talker. And I think I have to work on that, guys. Just a little bit. But yeah, you know, as I say, if you're in sobriety, well done, keep it up. Always get help on the sidelines. If you are in one of them relationships, please try and get out of it. Or just, if you feel like you can't talk to that person, which is 99.9%, probably you can't, then, you know, just try and speak to somebody else. Don't ever let anyone take your friends away from you, or your phone away from you, or your home away from you, or especially your family. Always go and see your family, your friends. Keep in contact with people, because the more isolated you get, the more chance you've got of being hurt, and then nobody's going to be there when you need them. This is what these people do to you. This is why I'm saying that these relationships are toxic and dangerous, and it can happen so quick. It can happen within a period of a few months and you wouldn't even know it. It's like it hits you in the face, and all of a sudden, and then when you have a big argument with your partner and they leave, or what are you left with? You're left in debt, friendless, parentless, moneyless. Do you understand what I mean? It's not funny, but this is true. It's reality of domestic abuse. You know, do you really want it to end up where it's in the newspapers, one dead, one in jail? Do you know what I mean? Is it really worth it? I hope I've helped. And take care, and I'll see you soon. Take care now. Bye-bye then.